Hello and welcome once again to NepalTraveler.com. We are back with another exciting episode of the Travel Trade Talk, where we talk to veterans, general managers, investors, stakeholders in the tourism industry on what's happening, on the current issues, etc. Today on our show, joining me is the general manager of the Best Western, the first Best Western in Nepal at Tilganga. Mr. Jatin Shrestha is the general manager. Welcome to the show, sir.
Welcome. Thank you, Mr. Jarens. Thank you for having me. It was long overdue.
Yes.
So we finally meet.
So to start with, we usually go on that line. How did your career in the hospitality tourism industry begin? What put you into that slot that, no, I want to do it in tourism?
Just to start with that, it has, just to let you know, it has been almost 2.5 decades. Working in this industry, but it just started with a chance, after my school pass out, I had nothing to do. I started in 1994. There was only a couple of 5-star hotels only, 𝐓𝐫𝐚𝐝, Solti, Annapurna. So I had a chance to work in, during my free time, I had a chance to work in 𝐓𝐫𝐚𝐝, so in the front office. So once I started working, I started growing interest in this industry. After that, after 2 years of working in 𝐓𝐫𝐚𝐝, because in those days, in 1994 and to 1996, it was a heyday in Kathmandu for tourism. Lots of tourists were coming. So the experience that I felt, that it was just a natural experience that we had to cater, because when the guest says like, thank you for your suggestions, it fills me, that gives us such a big pleasure. So I said, this is interesting professional. So then I pursue hotel management, and I did my hotel management from IHM Hyderabad. And as soon as I completed my IHM Hyderabad, I came back, and at that time it was just opened Radisson Hotel.
Yes.
So I joined as in Radisson Hotel, and after that it's just a history. Now it's by a choice. So it's my choice to be in this industry as long as I can contribute to this industry.
You've been a veteran in the hospitality sector. You've worked with a number of brands, especially the international chains, from Radisson, then 𝐴𝐿𝐿oft. You were there at the opening and did a lot. And then it came to Best Western, where you were the first GM when they opened. How was that experience opening the hotel, the Best Western?
Just to let you know that I worked here as well as abroad also with international brands and local chains. Yeah, as I told you, it started with 𝐓𝐫𝐚𝐝, then Radisson. Then again, I went to Bahrain to work with Radisson Blu. And then I came back and again worked with 𝐴𝐿𝐿oft Marriott. It was my first brand as a Marriott. And I had an opportunity to work as a pre-opening team. And then it gives, as established hotel and a pre-opening team, it gives you a lot of experience. It gives you more patience to work. It gives you more communication dealings with your colleague. So it was like learning and a learning process throughout my journey for this industry. But however, since it is my whole career, I was in the rooms division. And the process was almost the same, but the atmosphere, the colleagues, the brand values, the core values was always changing. So I just have to adapt as and when required, and that adaptation has taught me and grown me so far. And then here I am with the Best Western. Again, it is another international brand, which is the first Best Western brand in Kathmandu. Right, and gradually within a year, I'm happy to say that I'm able to position this company or a brand to the market, and hopefully the year on will come, and so's the business and all.
How has the last 1 year been for the Best Western here in Kathmandu? From people getting to know the brand, and exactly. What is the feedback at the market right now when they?
It's a good question, yeah, because initially it's just been, for me also, I was not a pre-opening team of this Best Western Plus Kathmandu. I joined in from June onwards. So once I joined, I just took, first, I just wanted to feel the norms of my team, because team is the most important part to integrate, to go forward with your vision, dreams, so once I came to know with the team and everybody, I showed them the directions, the guidance, and then in the market, it was very difficult to position, because they were not aware what is this Best Western brand. We always had to brief them that this is an first American chain. However, it has, unlike other brand, it also has 18 brands within the Western, and it has almost 4,300 properties throughout the world, and almost in 100 countries or territories. And unlike, as I said, unlike other brands like Marriott, Hilton, it has a strong membership reward. It has 57 million active members. Once we started informing our local DMCs, agents, and corporate houses, then we need to educate them, like, okay, it is like same brands as international other brands. So then once they started visiting a property, once we started building their confidence, showing our services, and it was now, as I say proudly, said, we have positions very well within the market throughout the other competitors, international brands, which are here in the Kathmandu city.
And when you look at the number of brands, international chains that have entered Nepal in the last 2-3 years, how do you see this situation? Because every few months there's a new branded hotel opening.
As a professionals, I see good opportunity, because there are lots of opportunities out there, because every hotel comes, they needs definitely human resources as an opportunity. Whereas in terms of room inventory and all, as you know, we have a limited numbers of tourism guests arrives in the country. As you know, last year it was almost 11 lakhs or so, and the inventory is so high, so number of pies remain the same. So the only challenge is the selling the rooms and hitting your ROI and all. Other than that, for the opportunity for employment is great. We can be able to learn the different brands' philosophies, and they need employees like us. So at least local employments persist, So it is a good both ways, win and loss. In terms of business, it is very difficult now, because we have limited supplies. Demand is very low and the supply is getting high. Whereas in professional point of view, it is always an opportunity to move around. They're always looking for professionals like us who has worked in the brand. So
when you were talking about demand, is it also because of the current political situation in the country? In September, we had a little bit of issues, and then in March, we have the elections. So is that a temporary demand issue, or do you think that the destination will grow in demand?
Nepal as a destination will definitely grow, provided we work together with the strategy partners like NTV or government. The main bottleneck, I believe, is not this is the short terms, because of the elections or Gen Z. These are all sort of short terms issues, but larger is the connectivity. It's a larger is the connectivity. The price fare for the ticket, for price fare coming to Nepal, it's so high rather than to the Southeast destination. It's very low. So it's more of a connectivity as well as infrastructures, infrastructure going back. People are going back to Pokhara, the other destinations is very difficult. However, the governments are improving at least infrastructure in terms of roads and everything. So if this goes to plans within 1-2 years, then definitely the demands will definitely increase. This is that we have to be positive, because as being hoteliers, we have to run this property as long as we can. So I believe, yes, the demand is there. It's just that we just have to work together with the government bodies and all the fraternity who is involved there, and definitely it will come up.
When you talk about working together, also with so many international brands, do you feel that they can work together to increase the pie, increase the size of the pie? Because they've got it, as you said, they have their memberships there.
It is. Every international brands, the membership is very strong. So and the benefits what they get through that memberships, the rewards programs. So definitely, as well as the booking engines. booking engines, the booking engines are international booking engines. So what happens is, yes, definitely the occupancies depends. We don't have to depend on most of them, as this is a leisure destination. We don't have to depend solely on DMCs only, because online is their portals with their company brands portal. There's definitely lots of booking are coming. In fact, when I was in fact, in our property also, our members' occupancy is almost 50%. Right? So this is how we have to increase. We have to convert those into members. And then what happens is they book through our portals, websites, and they get benefits. And so that what happens, we don't have to only depends upon the DMCs, or rather than guests will prefer us directly, as they trusted us, they get benefits and the amenities. So definitely the international chain has helped us in some certain extent. But however, we do have to depend upon the cultural tourism, local DMCs to fill up our market mix. Yeah.
When you talk about also the domestic market, let's say the conference, MICE business, F&B, how do you see that Nepali market, the local market, developing?
In terms of conference, yes, definitely it was developing, because we do have lots of international conferences. We are the neutral ground in terms of India, and the Southeast Asia, we are the neutral ground to come and do the conference. It was helping, but the situations, international situation has affected in terms of conference. But however, the next other destinations, other events like residential wedding, destination weddings, it is increasing. So it is those market we hadn't tapped before, but within the last five years and so definitely it is increasing, those destination wedding. So that's why you see we have destinations hotels where they're tapping up all the destinations wedding. So this is another segments we have increases, rather than as well as the casino segments. So there are a lot of segments which we have potentials, and we utilize. But then it takes time a little bit to promote, as well as, because we are more concentrated on culturals, tourism, and the adventures, and these segments also has to go hand in hand. Definitely we will have a different mix of all the segments in the futures.
And what about the domestic, local corporates, people going for banquets, for weddings, for engagement parties? How do you see that growing? People from Nepal itself, are they looking towards brands, or are they still with the party palace?
They are looking at brands, because we give them an affordable price with an international brand touch, different curated menu. Because nowadays they do prefer going to the brand. So wedding venue, in F&B venue, as you say, as you know, this property, our USP is the meeting and event space. We have a very almost 6,000 square meter, and the other one is 4,600 square meters. It's a huge, massive meeting and space, and our chunk of the revenue is from the meeting and events venue. So it has increased, yes, it has, but then again, there is always a fierce competitions between local, the party palace, this and that. So we have to compete, we have to push, and we have to market more to get those extra chunk of business as well.
Also, looking at the human resource side of things, do you think that we have ample trained professional resources? Because with so many hotels opening, the one thing I hear is we can't get the right people.
Yeah, exactly. But what I have told my team also, we have to look for fresh graduates. It's not about the earlier they used to look after experience. Nowadays it's not about experience. It's about freshers who is willing to work, who is willing to learn. We can learn, we can teach them, we can learn them. So we have to see the persons who is stable, who is willing to work. We can teach them, we can do them. So what happens is, always I look for a young graduate who has interest in working. So what happens is, if we spend on human resources, training and development also, it doesn't make a difference, because the returns are always there. So I don't know about the others. For me, I always look after graduates who is fresh, energetic, and who is willing to learn, and we don't mind spending on them, on learning and development, right? So what happens, the service, the return of will go high, and basically and none of the properties or the hotels expects working any employ more than 2 years or 3 years, they have to also experience. We don't have to be selfish and say that you have to work for 10 years in my property. They also have to gain experience. The ones they move, they earn experience. So this is the main criteria for me, in fact. I don't know about the other hotels, but for me, in my HR team, I said, always look for fresh graduate, hunger graduate. And then we can teach them. We can, whatever the tools, as an international brands, we have online platforms, e-learnings are there, all the courses are there. When they start learning, they will definitely perform well. So there's no requirement of I need a 3 years, experience for this, that. It is how you teach them, because now, every hotel has their learning and development department because of this only, right? We get a fresh graduate, and then we can teach them, and then we can get a big, better product.
So this is a refreshing view, because many of the hotels, especially the investors, the owners, all they say is that we train and people leave, or they go abroad. But how do you see that? Because the fact that young Nepalese people can actually go abroad and work in the hospitality industry, and people like you come back from abroad with experience, how do you look at that whole phenomenon?
So this is the only industry, I believe, you work here or you work in abroad, it's the same, procedures is the same. Like if you work in an F&B service, you're serving. Right? Here you are serving here also. If you go to abroad also, you are serving also. It's just a matter of you have to let them go and experience. And the main issues is they have to come back and lure them that, okay, once I believe, what I'm firm believer is, since the international brand has coming up here, so they will definitely come back after getting an experience and giving them a higher position. So this is just a temporary, I believe. Right, the later on was because whenever I did a survey, like whenever we was opening our vacancies, almost 60% of the applications comes from abroad. Right, so it's just that we could not match somehow the scales of the expectations, but the interests are always there. So gradually, within a time comes, once our industry start growing, once the demands are there, once we started able to get what we want, then definitely we can also call them and say, yes, come.
And the next question would be, because you were the first Best Western Plus that came into Nepal. Now another one has just been recently launched, another Best Western, as well as 2 more in the pipeline. Mm-hmm. How do you see that from the brand perspective of Best Western coming into Nepal?
Yeah, brand perspective is very, very good, fantastic, very good. At least now in Nepal, they know that Best Western brand is also there. Since we are the first property in Nepal, as I told you in the beginning, it was very difficult to convince the guests, explain the people, buyers or agents about our property brand values and everything. Now, once it is, as I said, once we reach that benchmark, and when people started knowing this, it will definitely grow in the city. And once it grows, it will be good for the brands as well. Like, since this Best Western brand is basically managed by Travelity. So Travelity company, our brand is also, our Best Western Kathmandu is also managed by Travelity. So Travelity is expanding. Their vision is to grow almost 10 to 15 hotels by 20 to 30 within the city. So once it grows, definitely once the presence are there, confidence.
Slowly the returns will start coming back.
Definitely return comes.
As a final question, sir, what would you tell the market, what would you tell the agents about this property? What's the USP of this?
Yeah, as I said, this Best Western Kathmandu is the first Best Western American brands in the city, and we are almost a year now old. And our USPs is, as you know, we are very next to the Pashupati Temple, which is one of the UNESCO heritage site. And our USP is the service, basically, the curated experience service. Like for me, the team is always in front. I don't lead from front, I lead from behind. It's the team who leads from the front. All the success goes to them, all the failures, I tell you. So the trust, what they have shown to the clients, guests, even the agencies, that it's about arranging the curated service for them. And providing, the first thing is, when it comes to hotels, it's always surgically clean room. My demand, I just communicate with my team, is like, you have to provide a surgically clean rooms, the good Wi-Fi, and the proper super breakfast. Right? Once you have that, once you concentrate on that, guests will always be happy. And then rest is you curate everything, experience, whatever the small thing, details which you provide. Those are the things matters. So that's why I expect those who has tried, yes, thank you very much for using our Best Western Property Kathmandu. And those who haven't used this property, please visit our property, see our services. We definitely disappoint you. Not disappointed.
Thank you so much, sir, for your time.
Thank you for having me.